Hidden in Taipei's Shilin Night Market, this legendary late-night food stall opens precisely at 1 a.m. While that might sound a little unsettling, the later it gets, the livelier it becomes. Every night at midnight, as the shops along the street close, a group of staff dressed in black begins their midnight ritual of setting up the stall. Various fresh ingredients are neatly arranged, ready to be cooked. The menu consists of 17 sizzling stir-fried dishes, with only the shrimp and egg stir-fry priced at 150 TWD. Every other dish is a uniform 120 TWD. No wonder this place is always packed from the moment it opens until it closes. At 1 a.m., the midnight food stall officially begins business. Two experienced chefs ignite the stoves, using high heat to dry any remaining moisture in the iron woks before adding solidified lard. Every dish here is cooked using house-rendered pork fat, a traditional technique passed down through generations to ensure an authentic, rich aroma. Dietary advice about reducing oil and fat? It has no place here. Once most of the lard is melted, the chef quickly scoops up the fragrant liquid gold for later use. Then, he swiftly tosses a generous portion of fresh shrimp into the wok, blanching them in hot water until they are half-cooked. Despite being the head chef of this stall, he still takes on the toughest and most exhausting tasks. Next, he adds a large ladleful of freshly rendered lard to the wok. Following that, he pours in a bowl of beaten eggs mixed with salt and pepper. With a loud sizzle, the golden egg mixture cascades into the hot oil like a waterfall, instantly forming soft, fluffy curds. The chef then grabs a handful of finely chopped green onions and sprinkles them over the center. With a gentle stir, he ensures that the rich aroma of the lard fully infuses into every bit of the eggs. After just a few seconds of stir-frying, the once liquid eggs begin to take on a semi-solid texture. At this moment, he adds a dash of soy sauce for seasoning before quickly lifting the wok off the heat and setting it aside. Due to the overwhelming number of customers flocking to this late-night stall, a single batch of eggs is never enough. The chef immediately grabs another large bowl of beaten eggs and starts cooking again. Meanwhile, another chef is busy frying chicken, ensuring that each piece develops a crispy golden crust while remaining juicy and tender inside, preparing for the next dish. Back to the head chef. This time, instead of serving the semi-solid eggs immediately, he combines them with the first batch, tossing them together in the wok. As the spatula collides with the eggs, creating a rhythmic clattering sound, the dish gradually firms up, turning a rich golden hue. This signals the completion of the first shrimp and egg stir-fry of the night. With a swift motion, the chef plates the dish. At this moment, the tattooed server steps in, ensuring that each plate gets a final drizzle of house-made sauce before serving. He can balance 5 plates on his arm without a single wobble. Just watching him move through the crowd gives a sense of how busy this stall really is. Next up is the highly anticipated Kung Pao chicken. The chef starts by stir-frying onions, minced garlic, and chili peppers in sizzling pork fat until fragrant, before tossing in a few pieces of green pepper. He then skillfully adds 3 scoops of sugar. Right on cue, his assistant brings over the freshly fried chicken. Now, it's time for the signature Taiwanese Kung Pao sauce, a perfect blend of sugar, rice wine, vinegar, and soy sauce, creating a sweet, sour, and spicy symphony of flavors. The chef, with years of experience, expertly tosses the wok, flipping the chicken with precision like a juggling act, yet not a single piece flies out. The spectacle earns cheers and applause from the customers. Unlike the traditional version, this take on Kung Pao chicken doesn't include scallions or cucumbers. Once the chicken is fully coated in the sauce, the chef finishes it off with a handful of fried peanuts and dried chilies. A final blast of high heat ensures the flavors meld together perfectly, completing the dish. If one had to rename it, sweet and sour spicy chicken wouldn't be too far off. But honestly, who cares about the name? As long as it's delicious, that's all that matters. Meanwhile, the other chef continues frying tofu. He carefully places long rectangular pieces into the bubbling oil. The intense heat instantly ignites stray oil droplets, sending sparks flying. With one hand, he gently shakes the wok, while the other uses the back of a ladle to separate the tofu pieces, preventing them from sticking together. Under the high temperature, the tofu gradually develops a golden, crispy exterior, while any unwanted odors and excess moisture are driven out, elevating the flavor to another level. During this brief moment, the head chef swiftly starts another dish, stir-frying tender, juicy slices of beef. A quick toss, followed by a heaping spoonful of satay sauce, evenly coats the beef. He then grabs a handful of freshwater spinach and tosses it in, using high heat to stir-fry everything while carefully adding more vegetables in stages. This seemingly simple technique requires precision. Adding too many vegetables at once would make it difficult to cook them thoroughly. By introducing them gradually, he ensures every bite is infused with the rich aroma of the sauce. Once the broth reduces into a thick, umami-packed satay sauce, the dish is complete. Scooping up a spoonful, you can see the beef glistening with rich, flavorful goodness, while the water spinach remains crisp and vibrant, a perfect balance of savory depth and refreshing crunch, making you want to dive straight into the wok for a bite. For the next dish, the chef blanches fresh slices of pork kidney in cold water, watching as they turn from red to pale. He pulls them out just before they lose all color, ensuring they don't become tough or rubbery. This time, he switches to sesame oil, tossing bean sprouts into the wok to achieve a crisp texture before adding the kidney slices. Then, he pours in half a bottle of rice wine, instantly igniting a towering flame that engulfs the wok, a dramatic high-heat technique that locks in the outer texture of the kidney while keeping the inside tender and bouncy. A quick sprinkle of salt and MSG enhances the flavors, and a final touch of starch slurry thickens the sauce. The sesame oil pork kidney stir-fry is now ready. Each bite is both chewy and tender, bursting with the rich fragrance of sesame oil. The juicy, crunchy bean sprouts complement the dish perfectly, making mouths water. For those accustomed to fine dining, the idea of staying up late just to eat at a roadside stall might seem odd. But for those who live and breathe Taiwan's vibrant nightlife, this nameless, signless midnight food stall is undeniably one of the soul-stirring highlights of Shilin Night Market.